Hello, this is Baron von Richthoff, and I'm going to take a look at an exciting Premier League replay match between Team 40 Bus Gaming and Team Green Forest. You hopefully have heard of both of these teams, but if not, then you will definitely hear them soon. 40 Bus Gaming, they used to be Corky Terrorists, and they've actually won 3 NESL series, and they're currently tied for first in the NESL Premier League. So definitely a top-notch team, and Team Green Forest has been kind of in and out in a couple of tournaments. So we take a look at the team comps. We see Jana and Cog are going to be bottom lane, with Udyr in the jungle, Brand mid, and Warwick top, while Team Green Forest is going to use Ryze mid, Lee Sin in the jungle, Caitlyn and Soraka bottom, and Riven top lane. So definitely some exciting matchup. Give me a second to review some of these teams. Okay, so basically, it should be a pretty even game. Most of these lanes are pretty even matchups. Brand is going to have a little bit of an advantage over Ryze for the first couple of levels, but then once Ryze has those items, he's definitely strong, and either one of them will have the burst to take down the other. Brand does have his stun, though, while Ryze only has the snare, and because of Ryze's short range on his abilities, Brand potentially could get out his damage and his disable while Ryze is attempting to harass him, so should be interesting to see there. Cog versus Caitlyn, pretty common lane matchup. Cog is one of the strongest DPS carries in the game. He has significant attack range along with his damage output and great poking ability, while Caitlyn is also a very high range champion, and both of them are exceedingly strong in lane. Cog and Jana, if they can be aggressive with that Jana shield, will have a little bit more damage, so that could potentially turn in their favor. I would expect to see Cog start off with boots, since Jana doesn't have a heal. And Soraka, kind of a defensive laner, but what she provides with that excellent defense with the heal and the armor buff is that it enables Caitlyn to be more aggressive with her auto attacks, and with that attack range, she could potentially get off some good harass. Riven versus Warwick top. I actually haven't seen this lane. You haven't seen a lot of Warwick in a while, but he is, one of the easiest laners in the game. He can hold his lane against anyone, really. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he can harass Riven enough. Both of them are going cloth and 5 health pots, so it will be difficult for either one of them to harass the other. So it'll most likely turn into a free farm lane. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how they can affect team fights with their abilities. Warwick does have that great single target ultimate, but Riven a little bit more damage and just kind of natural disable from her abilities. Team 40 Bus Gaming will have Udyr, so they are going to try and secure this blue. He is probably going Phoenix Udyr, so he will be exceedingly fast in the jungle, while Lee Sin will be very aggressive with his ganks. So both junglers, top-notch junglers, and have, great potential to impact the game. Really kind of standard items from everyone. We see Ryze starting off with that Sapphire Crystal, so he either wants a fast Catalyst if he gets enough gold, or go for a fast tier, and then he'll have enough mana to spam his abilities in lane, and with that spam ability he really does have a lot of damage, and then also his early tankiness, so he will give them kind of more of an early game advantage. You do see that Team 40 Bus Gaming kind of has a more organized team fight team. Team Green Forest, they have Lee Sin and Riven, who are very get up in your face and disrupt you kind of players, and then they've got Ryze and Caitlyn, who are single targets, so they have some nice single target damage. But if you can imagine, 40 Bus Gaming, they've got Udyr to kind of tank around Warwick for that single target damage. Jana is going to really try and control the fights with her disables and protecting Kog'Maw, who's got that range DPS, and then Brand with his great burst damage, hopefully to pick people off. Though, if Team Green Forest does get tanky enough, then they do have nice sustained damage, particularly with Ryze, Lee Sin, and Riven. They will have really nice sustained damage to go along with some burst. I'm not sure what jungle route. Oh, actually, they saw Lee Sin. He was taking the mini golems, so they do need to watch out. He might be coming up through the brush, which is why they're actually pinging right now. They have the ward here, so that was an excellent job by Jana coming up, knowing that Lee Sin is going to be very aggressive early. And you see Riven kind of moving towards Warwick, likely because she's trying to bait him in and has Lee Sin there. You see the CV going off from Jana. Excellent job with that kind of map coverage from her support is going to help Warwick to control this lane currently. Brand is going to have a little bit of an advantage early on against Rise if he can hit his damage. Rise does have a lot of damage, but just runs out of mana a little bit too fast in the early laning stage, and he doesn't really get tanky till a little bit later on. Lee Sin, as we saw, did come down to get those wraiths. So Rise or Brand will want to watch out, but you see he's generally fine. He's staying back. He's shying away from that top brush, so it's a really long distance for Lee Sin to come if he wants to gank. And Udyr just doing fast clear of the jungle. He is going to recall after this red and probably get boots, but Lee Sin coming in. Rise with the disables and the ignite. Lee Sin just barely missing that Q, and Brand doing an excellent job flashing out of there, is able to survive. Early on, harass is definitely going to the advantage of Team Green Forest in bot lane. Caitlyn, effectively using that range, and because Janna doesn't have that heal, if you can get some damage onto Cog and force that shield defensively rather than offensively, then you will have a significant advantage in that lane. So she is kind of taking control right now. It'll likely turn into a farm advantage as the game progresses. Kog'Maw saying Cog can't lane versus Kate. I know that's definitely not the case, since you see it quite often. Udyr is coming up. He does have double buff, and Riven is awfully close. He's going to come in. He's got that great movement speed and the gap closer, but Riven, just with those nice little mini blinks, is able to get out of there. Udyr is coming back in around. He wants to get in. The creeps are kind of bugging out. I think the creeps saw him. Not quite sure. He is trying to get a gank on Riven still, but Riven's playing pretty defensively, so she's going to be okay there. And Cog just taking massive amounts of damage. I mean, he really can't lane versus Caitlyn, with how successfully she's been doing here. You really don't want to be able to give up that free harass. Udyr is going to get caught. He tries to flash, but the snare from Rise, he is barely going to get out. Brand kind of deterring Lee Sin from jumping in. As we take a look at the early CS, we see that Kog'Maw is being outclassed by Caitlyn so far. Caitlyn does have a slight advantage as the game's progressing. And so that's really what Caitlyn's trying to do, is take control of that lane, prevent Cog from getting that super farm that he can do, and then just being able to control the fights with all of his damage output. Janna going to be able to get some good harass. Udyr's coming up, but doesn't really have an entrance path. They're too pushed up, so he can't get into the brush. And Warwick just doing a good job with those Q spans, that Hungering Strike, able to take Riven down pretty low early. Has been a pretty even lane so far, but Lee Sin is coming in on Warwick. Riven is going to be able to get a disable, as will Lee Sin. They are going to slow him in a second. Lee Sin did use his Q already. The stun from Riven, is he going to get out? He's taking a lot of damage. He throws off his Hungering Strike. He is going to be okay. He does have those heals, so it is pretty easy for Warwick to sustain. And Cog, really they want to clear these creeps in the back, but they don't want to miss out on this cannon XP and gold. That's really a lot to miss out on. But Caitlyn very close. She does flash in for the kill. And Lee Sin coming up top on Warwick. Warwick is pretty low right now, but so is Riven. You see that fear going off, or whatever his aura is. I'm a little surprised to see that Udyr's coming up top so much. We do have another Lee Sin gank. Udyr is going to come in right in the middle of this, and Warwick is level 6. Does he have the mana? He does not have the mana currently for his ultimate, but he will kind of try and stay in range, give vision of that Lee Sin, and now he does have the mana for his ultimate. Can he get in? He cannot get the Lee Sin. Very close. He actually had to use his flash. He probably could have stayed a little bit closer to pick that up. But I am a little bit surprised that Udyr's hanging out top so much. He doesn't really want Riven to get farmed and knows that Lee Sin has been ganking top a lot. Or maybe it's because Warwick does have that ultimate, so they do want to pick up some kills. And that actually is a good decision now that I think about it. Brand is going to be picking up that blue from Udyr, which is really great. But Udyr probably should try and focus a little bit more on bottom, because Caitlyn really has just been having her way with Cog so far. and you really need Cog to have that damage output as the game progresses. Warwick, he's going to get tanking no matter what. Brand's going to have pretty good damage no matter what. He's has a decent lane to be in. So really, it has to deal with how much damage Cog can get in this game for how when they've got the Udyr and the Warwick up front tanking, how much damage can Cog do from that back line. Cog throwing off some excellent damage onto Soraka. Can the ultimate hit? He's actually 5, but they throw off the exhaust onto Caitlyn. Caitlyn exhausts Cog as well. They are chasing him down. Very close. The Q from Caitlyn. Cog really didn't need to hit it. Janna is going to block that ultimate, and they are going to kind of take back control of this lane, but Soraka, oh my gosh, the flash in from Cog. He throws off his W for the extra range increase and is able to pick up that kill. I was about to say that Soraka is going to be able to heal them back up, but now Cog is level 6. He's going to try and get a kill into Caitlyn. They are going to push into this tower. They know they're in control here. Lee Sin is mid. The ultimate just barely out of range of Caitlyn. Be very close to killing her. But this is going to give Cog some nice free farm time, and they are going to get significant amount of damage on this tower. Really, Udyr should have been coming down and grabbing this dragon. I'm not really sure why they didn't. Ryze had recalled, and bot lane both had recalled, but I guess they were a little bit concerned with how low health bot lane was with Janna and Cog, so they didn't really want to risk it, but that was a potential opportunity for Dragon, which would have given them a nice little boost. It is a little bit early, so I do recognize, they probably want to be a little bit more conservative. Some of them were low, and you really don't want to kind of be starting Dragon, and even if it would have been a 4v2 in their favor, there is the potential that, if they come through and sweep a couple of kills, or, God forbid, steal the Dragon, that would really just set them behind and not really necessary. But it is kind of getting to that point where we'll start to see some play for Dragon. We take a look at the farm, we see that Brand has a pretty good advantage over Ryze, really controlling that lane with that early advantage that he has. He's up by 20 CS, so that's pretty fantastic. Cog and Caitlyn pretty even, but actually Caitlyn's up by 20 CS. I thought that Cog had caught up a little bit more at the end there. But Caitlyn really doing an excellent job with that, the heals from Soraka and the great range to harass down Cog very quickly, and Caitlyn also did get that kill. Though Cog did get a kill into Soraka, which helps Cog out a little bit. But Caitlyn definitely advantage. You see Caitlyn building that VF sword, or BF sword, so Cog, not nearly as much damage, a little bit more tankiness with the health from the Doran's blades, a little bit more movement speed, which will help him out a lot. He can move in and out of the lane easier to potentially not take as much harass. However, if they do look to kind of fight 1v1 Caitlyn versus Cog, then Caitlyn will definitely be at the advantage. She does have more damage output, and then she also has the armor buff from Soraka, even though the damage will go from Janna to Cog. Udyr does have an Oracles. He is coming in very aggressively onto Ryze. Ryze flashing in on top of Brand, and Brand is going to go down very quickly, but Udyr is trying to pick up the kill onto Ryze. He is going to die, and now he's chasing after Lee Sin. Lee Sin did jump in for that Brand kill. I'm not sure if he got an assist on it. He is going to back off now. So it was an even exchange, though Ryze did use his flash, so his flash will be down for a little bit. They do know that they have that advantage, and Udyr does have this really aggressive Oracle. He hasn't finished his Merc Treads yet. I would assume he's going Merc Treads with their disables. But the early Oracles is really going to help with map control, and now we see he is coming bottom. He did clear out that ward. I'm not sure why he didn't just come right down this river. Maybe he was a little bit concerned about the path. He's just going to clear the wards and actually go back to his jungle. So there's really the threat of Udyr is going to make them play more defensive rather than the actual gank. So doing an excellent job controlling there. They don't have a ward on Dragon, but I wouldn't expect the enemy to go for Dragon at this point because there's really no opportunity, and they do know that Udyr had that Oracles. Janna warding it, so they are going to be okay. And we see Udyr, he's kind of just hanging out bottom. I think he was trying to get an aggressive gank right straight up the lane. He is going to come right down. They don't have vision of him. They are backing up. I don't know if they just CV'd. No, they do not see him. Actually, Soraka had dropped a ward into that this brush here, but now all of the wards are cleared bottom, and Udyr knows that he's going to be able to kind of get back in for that gank. Continuing to look at the items, we do see Rise has a Catalyst, and he is working towards that early Banshees. So Banshees, if he can get that up quickly against Brand, will give him a huge advantage in lane. He will have the Catalyst